Traders invested in cars, and that's one thing I've seen. Like it's something that made us boom. Like it took us out there. It's a bad investment, but I guess we had no other voice, so we had no other way to say this is what I have and this is what I do. Even with the money coming in. Remember, I wasn't always like this. I'm coming from car washes, nursing, and other things at the back, and then boom.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Market Masters again. This is Nqobile Tembane from Top Traders South Africa, and welcome to another installment of Market Masters, where I sit down with your favorite and the most prominent traders in the industry. And big thank you to Exness for sponsoring the show, making it possible, and bringing the traders to you guys. And today, guys, we're in Sandton right now. We are sitting, we out here at what are these office calls? 155 West.
155 West.
155 West. And I'm sitting here with Thulani Vilakazi, aka also known as Genius Medulla. Yes, how are you doing?
I'm good, and yourself?
Now, I am great. I am so excited for today's conversation. I'm really looking forward to it. We spoke yesterday just to prepare for this interview, but when we were speaking, you mentioned so many important things that I think a lot of the new school kids are gonna really relate to, or maybe not relate to, but rather look up to you and be like, oh no, actually, no, that man has walked the path before me, per se.
Yeah,
but obviously, we're here because you're a trader. You've been in the industry for actually 10 years now. Actually, 10 years, yeah. But what does that mean actually for you, being in the industry for 10 years?
I think I've served my purpose in the industry. Yeah. That was the whole goal, not giving up, and coming from an entrepreneurial side. I believe the longevity of business is what counts the most, and I actually love this thing. It's not just something that I just want to do short term. So that's 10 years, and in that 10 years I got to experience with incredible people, incredible people I wouldn't want to mention names, but
I understand.
It's something that I am with me,
Next thing you forget someone's name and it's a problem. Now they're like, but you didn't mention me.
No, true.
Yeah.
But the industry, the 10 years thing is like a milestone for me. It's something that I can celebrate, even tell to my kids, to say, no, at least I have some story to tell, something I can tell.
Yeah, but I believe really being in the industry for 10 years, I have one question for you. Why haven't you given up?
Primarily is that I can see that the industry is going to be like a music industry at some point. You look at the Jay-Z's, you look at the P. Diddy, they didn't know the future, but they had to invest in something that they believed in, which was music. And if you look down 20 years down the line where they are right now, I think FOREX is something that is going in the same route. As you can see, there's so many brokers coming left and right, and even the recognition, from being called scammers to coming back. Our industry is like a roller coaster, it's like a chart on its own. There's times where people don't believe in us, there's times where people do believe in us. So it's just one hell of a journey.
Yeah, okay, that's great. So I believe you're from Sosha.
Yes, I am.
Okay, kid from Sosha. You grew up in Sosha. Yeah. What was life like back then?
Man, I never thought I could be here.
Really?
I knew I was going to be a businessman at some point, but I just didn't expect FOREX, and FOREX was kind of like something that I wanted to do part-time and fund my medical business, and it's something that I always I saw it as an escape goal, get money and start a proper thing, but I got hooked, and funny thing is that when I started off in the industry, I was actually helping my sister, to study and to show her, how it works, and unfortunately, because everyone loves money, I was like, okay, this is something I would like to do, for a while. And I got to work with incredible companies, many brokers, including building brokers, it's not just...
that's actually a conversation we're still going to get to. But like right now, I'm still going back to the kid in Sosha right now. Like you said, you never envisioned yourself in this space or whatnot. So tell me some stories from back then. Like
it was mad crazy because, you know, I come from, you know, my background is painful, bro. I used to stay in a hostel. You know, hostel is like,
really.
If you know, what's that?
Location.
I even forgot where I came. It's called.
Engineers in Twiza.
No, it's not necessary. What's that place next to TT?
I'm not familiar with that side.
Okay, I come from, you know, hostels, and you know, there's too many energies, too many things. There's no light. It's like your vision is blocked, you know, and it's crazy because including working in a car wash, you know, dropping out of school, you know, and you know, a few years ago, not even a long time ago, like I felt like I had no hope, but I understood for some reason that I'm gifted when it comes to business. You know, I'm gifted when it comes to building things. So I gave myself an opportunity to go back to school and did nursing. I was a male nurse. I went to Mankweng Hospital to work there, and then after that I went to the Vergers, you know, and I went to other places. After that time I knew that, you know what, I have to be what I dreamed of, which was being a businessman. I decided, okay, you know what, it's time to go for business, and I decided, okay, I'm going to start with medical, and I did good. I did really good, including having a warehouse in Midrand, you know, and, you know, like attending seminars that would have about 72 countries, you know, like Chinese, Brazilians and stuff. So the vision was solid. I got investors, everything went well until the Forex thing came around 2012. And I was supposed to accommodate my sister. You know, 2013, I started pursuing, started attending courses there, you know, seminars. And in a very short period of time, I got to realize that not only you can trade, but you can also be in the Forex business. So, you know, most of the time traders don't understand. There is traders full-time, and there's trader/businessman. And that's what I chose, you know. I became a trader/businessman. That's where I capitalized. And in that journey, I worked with like proper mentors, you know, proper mentors. I wouldn't want to mention names, but I worked with like proper mentors, you know, from serving for 7 years under one umbrella. Sure. You know, and it was mad crazy. I've seen some nasty things, like hitting each other with phones on top of heads. You know, some other broker were thinking that I was taking clients from them, and they came to the office to mur me, like, really? You know, and you know, it involved cops, going to hospital. You know, those are things that have really happened, like for real. And
I mean, it is an industry. I mean, I believe in every industry there's always like a good side and a very bad side to it.
Yeah, true. But in that 10 years, I got to compile the necessary information for me to be able to start my own brokerage, or to work, or to build, or to manage brokerage. Even though I can say, yeah, I did good with some brokerage were a bit tough. You know, they're very unexpected of that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You know, actually, that's something that I actually wanted to talk to you about is the brokerage part, because like what's happening right now is that there's a culture. I don't want to say it's a big culture, but it's a very niche culture within, where people are young people in the game, young traders in the game. They like, obviously everyone's saying that the end goal is I want to have a broker. You know, everyone's going for that. But like you've actually had an experience of actually piecing together one and all that. So I want to walk us through that whole process, that whole journey. And be real about it, because I want to know everything. No,
Not to offend anyone.
Yeah.
But I'm personally very disappointed in a lot of old cats, you know, very disappointed. Okay, not everyone wants to have a broker, but at least 1%, you know, 1% should be pursuing, you know. But how I see the industry is a bit stereotype. You know, they're all facing in the same direction, which is having institutions, buying cars, you know, houses, and then, you know, and then end of the story. You know, and we don't see the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that how are we going to be the next Jay-Z's if we don't invest in the industry? This industry, we own it. It's not, it's not a coincidence. It's not. I feel like the African guys are now going to look at South Africa as, the next, Greg Secker, the next, like big companies in terms of what I believe. Like there's a lot of traders here in South Africa who are too international, and I feel like a lot of traders that they don't see that light, and I don't know, maybe it's fear or lack of knowledge. As we know, there's regulations that have to be compliant, for you to open a brokerage, and it's so difficult. At the same time, it's easy, only if you know.
Yeah. What is that process though?
What is the process? The number one process is the licensing. You wouldn't want to go for a brokerage if you don't have the license. And now things are changing. Slowly but surely things are changing, because now there's the ODP, which is a
conversation
problem,
right now.
Where does it come from? That's the question I'm asking.
The biggest conversation right now is this ODP license chat.
Where does it come from? Who's creating these regulations? I mean, like, give us a break, guys. We don't know anything about this thing, except that you have to go to school and study your RE1 and your RE5s, and you just go and look for those instruments that you're looking for, like your short-term deposits, like your derivatives and long-term deposits, and then at least you qualify, plus the ODP on the side. Then it makes sense. You can now subscribe with people like MetaCos. Those are companies that you can actually pay, for them to build everything. You don't have to do anything. It's just a matter of, choosing the right logos, the themes, the websites, and then after that, you're good to go. Finding the right liquidity provider, depending if you're a B-book or you're a book as well. So I feel like the regulation behind it, we've seen the FSCA is also in the picture, and we really love what they're doing, protecting the community from everything that is happening around. But at the same time, we feel like, the government should be investing more, in giving us like the knowledge that is needed to run this thing like the most proper way possible. And I think that's where a lot of traders, they lack. You can't be selling signals. Look at me, like right now, I'm very old, and not old as in like.
What's very old though? What is very old?
Not old. I'm 33.
33. Okay, fine.
So 33-year-old guy. How many 33-year-old guys who are still thinking of building brokers? So with me at least, I've tasted the sugar. I've tasted how to build. I know how to build. Even if you gave me the opportunity to build a broker, it wouldn't even take me a month, because I know exactly what to do. I know how to even run it. I've done almost everything for my brokerage, from building my own websites, from building the graphics, and at the same time managing the call center. It's a headache, you'll sleep with your shoes on. But one thing I know is that it's one of the businesses that one has to build at some point. If you want to see yourself as a big man at some point, you need to go for brokerage, because I feel it's something that we own. And, especially now, I saw another article on MoneyWeb. And, if you know MoneyWeb, it's associated with unit trust funds. It's associated with JSE, all the people that are watching MoneyWeb. It's people that are actually matured, they are in the big league like JSE. Now there's an article that says SA teens skip school to join risky crypto dreams. I don't know how they got the title. Like, I'm still trying to understand how did they get the title, because the title is like playing both ways. It's like destroying and building at the same time, because it destroys someone who's trying to build a career out of forex trading, and the parents are saying no. And then this article comes from nowhere. So they're shutting down someone's dream somewhere. And then now on the other side, if you didn't know about forex, now you want to understand the crypto dream. And forex, when you are new to it, it's something that has excitement. It's something that you start to daydream. You have flashy cars and houses until you hit your stop loss. It's crazy. But I think the industry is very special in general. It's something that one must invest in. To a point like, I believe like South African brokers should be owned by South African people only, and then unfortunately they don't see it the way other people see it outside the country.
Okay, yeah, so just understanding the process right now, It's basically a license first, obviously, and
The licensing
is what's needed, and then obviously.
Okay. So the second two things that you go for, it's a CRM. So CRM is like where it captures all the data from the emails, the phone numbers, processing withdrawals, and all those type of nonsense. So the CRM, it's a different company. You have to subscribe with that company, and then you also have to subscribe with MetaCodes, and then you have to take all the links that are this side, and you join them so that they can make one thing, which it is. But it's doable. It's not like it's rocket science, and because you go for video calls where they give you like the guideline on what to do, what link you need to paste it where. They'll send you the PDFs, what you need to paste where. It's like someone who has a domain and they want to connect their email, those type of things, and then once the CRM and the MT4 or MT5, whatever trading platform you'll be using, and it's integrated with the CRM, now you can proceed and start trading from the platform. So if someone registers from the website, another thing is that you also have to build a website which is going to have buttons that have to redirect to CRMs, or including when you click, it has to download the MT4 or whatever platform. So it's just steps and steps and steps. But I think in a month you can achieve building yourself a broker.
I want to ask a very different question. Is that what was the biggest mistake you feel like you made at the time?
My biggest mistake.
Yeah.
My biggest mistake in the Forex industry.
No, I mean like we're coming to the broker side, basically.
To the brokerage.
Yeah.
My biggest mistake. I don't actually have a mistake.
You don't? Okay.
I don't have a mistake.
Okay.
I have enemies. Understand? Who understand that the young kid understand his target audience.
Okay.
So if you put me down and say, start your own broker right now. I've been in the industry 10 years. Don't tell me I don't know who I'm selling to. Obviously, we're not selling to the old people who have been in seminars and been discouraged and stuff, We're selling to the kid who's still coming from high school. We're selling to the people who are already in like the working class and stuff, So we're selling to people that I would say /young. There's brokers that I've looked at, and I looked at their format of design. I said, this is good. I would love my brokers to look similar. It's not like in the olden days where you have your FX Pro where it looks so mature and stuff,
Yeah, I like what you're saying there. You speak about the young generation and all that, especially I think right now it's so important for us to move with the times,
Bruh, they're gonna do super good. I can assure you, they're gonna do super good. With us, it was a bit difficult. We come from a space where we didn't even understand the FSCA. We didn't know that if a broker doesn't pay you, you can attend it in a certain way. So now I can assure you, even a $50 guy can report you at the FSCA. It wouldn't even waste time. So that is growth on its own. So I think that's where even the adults have to to keep note, to say, okay, the industry has changed. Now there's no more cheating. Now there's no more nothing when it comes to brokerages.
Like the FSCA was not always as involved as they are right now.
But now, like, they see us. We're all over the place.
Because we created havoc.
Yeah, too much.
Too much.
Traders invested in cars. And that's one thing I've seen. Like, it's something that made us boom. Like, it took us out there, It's a bad investment, but I guess we had no other voice. So we had no other way to say, this is what I have and this is what I do. That's why you see us putting brands and stuff. It's like any other brand. It's just that this time, this thing, it's new, and as much as it's new, I'd love to take control, and so far, I just feel like we made it, we made it. It's just a matter of understanding that moving forward, someone is going to take it at some point. And that's where I would urge that other traders out there, they start looking into this brokerage thing, and like really investing their time into it, because we only live once.
I feel like it's quite expensive, is it not?
It is. Let's say about 250,000 you set, and then you also have to get the liquidity providers intact, and everything, So it's just It's just a way of doing research and just putting everything in one place. But it's a bit costly. Yeah, it's a bit costly, unless if you know people.
It's all about connections. We live in South Africa at the end of the day, you know. Yeah, no, but that's great though, you know. It's very inspiring, the stuff that you're saying, and I like the fact that your focus is on the younger generation at hand, you know, like, and I think that's really good. But I think really, if we can hold the hands of the people coming next, you know, to actually be, and we pay, and as much as we were. I feel like coming to this to our generation. Okay, maybe your generation, because I'm not as old as you are. You know. No, but on a serious note, you know, I feel like you guys were just were paving the path. You were, you know, leading the way. So you had no guidance there. There was no path. So you guys were creating the path. Honestly, so I think a lot of things were done. Mistakes were done. A lot of things, and like, you know, shout out to you guys. Yeah.
You know, there's some point I stayed in Soweto, you know, and I would hold seminars. So with the seminars, you know, you need to show something. So there's something that I picked up. I said, okay, since I don't have a car, so how do I handle this thing that I'm going to present while there's no tangible things around? And that's where like the history came in, which is, you know, traveling from Soweto to Bree, you know, from Bree to Sandton, and then when you get to Sandton, you have to get there as early as possible, because you don't want to share the same taxi with your clients in the process. You know, you don't want to share the same taxi with the person that you're going to be teaching. You know, so you have to be as early as possible. And then even after the seminars or after the classes, you still have to stay behind, because somewhere, somehow, you're going to share the same taxi, you know, and, you know, from wearing formal to now going back into, you know, semi-casual,
normal clothes,
normal clothes, because it's like Forex it was associated with wearing suits at those times, you know, becoming a businessman. I think that's one thing that attracted me with it. You know, I used to wear suits a lot. At one point, I got. There was rain actually. At one point actually it was raining, and then I got wet before the seminar, and I had to present while I was wet, you know, and it's crazy. People are looking at this guy as, oh, he's a millionaire, or he's, you know, this guy is our mentor. But in my head I'm thinking, oh, hostos, man, this is a long journey, you know, and I don't know how many seminars I've done. If I, you know, including at Segosa next to Sandek, you know, I've done seminars all over the place, you know, and it was quite crazy and nice at the same time, not knowing that 10 years later I will talk about it like this, you know. And that's one thing I enjoy when it comes, because this thing, it's running a Forex business, it's the most hardest thing you can ever come across, because you have to put everything in place, you know, like the admin, you know, and making sure that you can see 5 steps ahead. Even when the industry is changing, you have to change with the times. There's so many old Forex traders that are not in the industry anymore, only in the name of not being able to identify when the time is right to move to the next level. You know, for instance, you know, we moved from courses to robots, we moved from robots to signals, you know, we're moving from, you know, from tours to that, you know. You have to, in order to sustain your business, or in order for you to move forward, you have to identify that space so that you can last for the longest time, you know, and building relationships, of course. That's why even when I started with the brokerage, it wasn't that difficult, because I knew where to get the license, I knew where to get the platforms, I knew where to, you know, I knew with almost everything that was around me. It was just putting the puzzles together, not knowing that brokerage situations, you know, they get jealous quickly, you know, when they see that the brand is crazy. They start attacking you, you know. If there's maybe a 1% negativity, they'll take it and repost it, and, you know, just to torment you, and they don't realize this is someone's soul somewhere, you know, and that person is feeling bad, but I'm trying to do the right thing, and they keep crashing as possible as they can. But one thing I learned about the first failure was that I can rebuild again, and this time I can rebuild to a level that no one can ever touch. Like,
but I think you know what's happening right, or what my understanding right now. Okay, sorry to interfere, but I feel like people at home right now sitting and listening, and they want to know, you're talking about rebuilding right now. So basically the broker at some point.
Yeah, it was closed down.
It was closed down. Yeah, just so people to be on the same page and understand. Now we're talking about the rebuilding thing. So it was closed down because things were just people. There was a tax. Basically, that's what you're getting at right now.
Yeah. So it's like the rebuilding is like I wasn't expecting it to succeed. First of all. I was testing waters. Hence, I've worked with my mentor for 7 years, and he's the one who said, okay, when you are ready, come back and I'll do it for you. And I had to go outside and look for money. I didn't want him to do it for free, so I had to pay and see how it goes. So the failure, I'm not worried about that. What I like about this whole thing is that you can fail 1,000 times. You can fail, but the first test, you'll know next time that, oh, okay. So I'm the issue when I announce that it's mine.
Okay,
because I don't know, they have that motive or that, but I just know exactly what to do next. As I can see that Africa is now an opportunity. Hence, you can see a lot of brokers are coming into the space. Everyone is trying to pursue the ODP. And it's amazing. It's something that we know. From payment gateways, what payment gateways to be used. Like the easiest way to work with other African continents. We have seen Apple just shut down. Meta codes on iOS, that's crazy because we don't know what's happening. We're just praying that it doesn't go to Android. So it means most of the traders, they have to sell the iPhones now. Hello, welcome.
You went and you spoke about we're moving with the times, but I would actually rather, let me put it like this, adapting as a Forex business. You spoke about the coming from selling signals. There was a time where people were selling courses. Courses. There was a time of courses. Went to a time of robots. You were actually deep inside within the robot selling business. How did you get into the robot space, trading robots?
I had a friend of mine who was like a PR to my business, and he was always talking about robots, saying, bro, you need to check out this robot, you need to check out, until I really and I didn't believe in robots. I was like, nah, I'm too old fashioned, I'm like, nah, there's no way I can go for that. But one time we tested it made so much money. I just felt like this is I just felt like it's something that I would like to do. I would go for, and try to see how I can build my own robots and publish them and see how we can develop. That's when I brought in my little brother and my cousin, and we tried to build this thing. We actually rented out. I had one apartment, and I rented the next door apartment, and the sleeping routine was crazy, like super great. Even today, we still do that. Most of the times I'm out here. Like sitting me and you right now, I think in a week I'll do that 5 times, and get out at the office maybe at 4:30 in the morning. The psychology behind it is crazy because no one can do it like that level. It's actually mental muscle, it's training yourself to be the hardest, entrepreneur possible. When you put more work, more hours, you can beat your competitor easily. And it's something that I've learned in those years from the robots when we were still building them. So I rented the next door apartment so that we can do like an office /sleep type of place, and we got the 3rd apartment. It is so in a month we'll be paying something like 18,000 on apartments. I'm staying with someone here, and then there's a group of guys there, and then there's, and then to a point
pushing business
I
at
decided,
that point.
okay, now it's time to open an office, and we opened an office in 165 West, which is the same street as this, and it was a small office. And after that, I think it was only like 2 months, the cash flow was crazy. So I ended up opening like 188 square meters. And after that 188 square meters, it was huge enough. And that was my mentor's office back in the days. And I wish I could tell you who was in that office, who got their license and their own brokers today. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I hear
and including with the female side of it, the first female to own a broker. We were all that group, and if I go to Iron FX, I've got my own group that I grew up with. When I go to certain places, there's everywhere. So I would say after having that big office, that's where I decided, okay. And the motive was that if I can't run an institution, there's no way I can run a brokerage. So I had to graduate within that 5 years. You know, I can't just wake up and say, I want a broker. So I was like, if I can't attend my clients on time, how do I think I'm going to attend my clients when it comes to the brokerage? So let me just stick to one direction, and I stick to my business, which is Invigo Forex, and I pushed Invigo for those years. And then after that, when I saw that it was booming, because I came with nice concept like affiliate programs where I would employ all the people from townships, and I didn't even choose that you were like from what background or you are intelligent. As long as you came, I was gonna give you the opportunity to work. Instead, there's some matured people that come from a selling background who came to the office, but they were not doing as good as the ones that I chose randomly, and I came up with the concept of Forex Tavern. It was more like, I wanted people on Fridays, they'll get together, we just drink, we play table soccer, then I'll bring in DJs, and it was just a culture of just having fun, like the Google type of fun, where we don't have to be stereotyped for everything. So when the business was still going, I decided, you know what, okay, how about now I bring in a brokerage? And my mentor called me and said, hey, I'll give you a brokerage for free. And I said, okay, let's go. And I tried it off, and I think we made about 2.5 million first month. And it was crazy, like, to experience that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I said, okay, sharp. That means in a few months we'll be doing super good. Unfortunately, because of disagreements, I decided to part ways, but I prepared myself in terms of licensing and what, and I went the other way. And I pushed and I pushed and I pushed, and problems came, and and boom, failed. Because the one thing that kills a broker is the license. If the license goes, you are finished. You don't have to continue. You don't have to even decide twice. You are done. And that's the one thing, when enemies go for killing a broker, they go for the license first, and then that's the end of it. Unless if you have a backup, I don't know. So yeah, it's mad crazy. Even with the money coming in. Remember, I wasn't always like this. I'm coming from car washes, nursing, and other things at the back, and then boom. I don't know how many cars I've drove at this. I'm not even fascinated about cars anymore. I'm all fascinated about property, fascinated about investments, making the right decisions. Hence, you can see right now, our country is in a very serious, critical economic crisis.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Forex is the only thing that is sitting in the way right now. Like, I can scream out of my car and say, you are going to join us. You can see the logo, right? This is the only industry that is going to make in this upcoming years, because it's online. It's like online clothing store. Everything is online. So physical shops, they're gone. Like, game is gone. What if macro follows? I don't know. That means we are in
we're
in Africa.
We're definitely shifting to a digital era, and trading definitely is digital, and I think a lot of people are going to adapt to that lifestyle as well.
I don't think they even have a choice. I feel like people are in a financial crisis right now. And when they see us, they're like, okay, I'm going to try this out for the last time. Let me see how it goes.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, so we've spoken about robots. What I want to speak about is the manual trading, because I know you also like a big fan of manual trading. That's what you enjoy doing, and you're a technical trader for sense. So when we're looking at the charts, what are we looking at right now as a technical trader?
I think gone are the days where you have to wait for hours to see price movements, or for hours to see. Now we have new instruments that have been introduced, like your boom and crash, your VIX 75. In our days, those things, they were not there, and now those type of instruments is instruments that have high volatility movements. And when you analyze and you do your thing, I think those are the instruments that will give you like a quick returns or quick movement, as compared to currencies. Currencies, associated with fundamentals, associated that there's news, that there's something that has to happen before there's that huge candlestick coming from nowhere. But with these other instruments, they're quite amazing. So I would say brokerages, there are very few who are offering those type of instruments. But now, I think personally from my side, I wouldn't want to recommend any broker right now. I'll just talk of that specific instrument, which is maybe let's say VIX 75. And I think I love those. Those are those are instruments that I would love to spend time on, based on the volatility that it has. You know,
they get your power, you know. They get your blood rushing really quickly.
The blood rushing and the heart attack at the same time. You know, when you mix them, it's something else. Yeah. it's a celebration mixed with sadness at the same time. You know, the industry is very interesting. You know, it teaches you patience. You know, it teaches you belief, because, you know, it's like any other regular business out there. You know, sometimes you good, sometimes you bad. It's not a straight line. You can't say I'm the cool right instead. You know,
you can never. Sometimes, you'll say that, and then next thing things just go sideways. Yeah. Okay. No, that's great. So, what has been like, so obviously some of the highlights of your career for these past 10 years?
Man, I did, you know, like essay, top trader essay. I did like radio interviews like SAFM. I've done Jimmy Comes to Josie, Gauteng TV with my friend Justin P. You know, we had to rent out cars, you know, and find X5s, you know, come out from Da Vinci. And another highlight is doing that reality, that Jimmy Comes to Joy. It was like a reality no, it wasn't a reality, it was like a documentary type of thing, you know, and that was nice to experience, you know, and a couple of radio stations and interviews. I think those were nice, you know. It's something that I enjoyed as compared to, you know, just trading alone. But yeah, I think Jimmy Comes to Josie was the biggest highlight.
Oh, no, yeah. That's it. And on the charts now, going to the charts, what has been like some of the trades that you took over the years that where you just like, these are life-changing trades, right?
Quite a lot. Yeah. Both sides, both losing and both
but
winning.
Now on the winning side, which ones are the ones that were like,
I remember my first time blowing an account. It was about 50 grand. And that was like my life hope. like, you know, I was so focused. The focus was crazy. And my friend Justin P called me during the day, you know, and he said, "Hey, buddy, Nene is I think he just got fired, you know, the Minister of Finance. And this is what we think. We think the rand is going to hit this." Eish. And I went in hard, you know, I opened like the biggest lot sizes, you know, crossing my fingers and thinking I'm going to be rich in 2 minutes. You know, the funny thing, I think it was during December time or something like that. I don't remember quite well. But after the knockdown, it was like flip. It would be even embarrassing to be talking about it. I was still a kid, you know, I was 24, I think. And I had to cry. You know, it was painful for me because I didn't believe. I was downloading videos, putting Jeep SRT8 on my computers. There's houses there. I'm thinking I'm gonna be this rich guy, and then the next thing I'm losing all the money, you know. And that was a bit life-changing because it just showed me that you don't have to give up, even if you get the knock. One thing you must remember: don't ever give up. So I had to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, how do I go back into the game and make this thing happen? And I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to spend my time and associate myself with other traders. And that's where I started working for these companies for free. You know, and in there I would mix with that one and ask questions, and then I started all over again. I said, okay, you know what? Let me fund. The biggest amount that I did in I did it in 2 weeks. It was close to 800,000. I think within those ages, it was crazy because that type of money will make you go local.
Yeah.
And there's a point where I went local because in 2016, that's when I bought my first Golf 7. In 2016, I know a lot of people will remember that one. I bought my first Golf 7 as my first car, and it was crazy because, you know, the lifestyle, the friends, you know, alcohol, you know, and then you get cocky, and then you get, you know, you think you're the shit, and after that you just lose everything. You know, I was once in that position where like I lost everything, and it's within those phases where, you know, we had so many traders were making it at that time. But I realized, you know, I'd spend more time at the office and see how you can rebuild. And then that's when I started working for an investment company, and I was doing all the marketing, and I was doing everything actually that they needed. We had golf for fun, where on Fridays we play golf, and being around that umbrella, that's when I was able to do business with other big guys. That's where I even found my mentor, for him to actually show me the way and pave the way for me. And yeah, that was a very, very, very good experience. And I really enjoyed, those seasons. I wish it could happen again, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're much older now, looking to build legacies and all that. Definitely, that's what we're all about. So what is your daily trading routine? Like, what's your...
Yo, man, my routine is crazy. It's literally crazy. I don't like anything during the day. Anything that has to do with the day, from where I stay, when I look outside, I go dizzy, and even coming to the office, when I come during the day, the energy is too much. There's too many things happening. So I would say from every day, my routine is that I come to the office around 9 o'clock or sometimes even 11. And then I would trade and wait for setups around 2, because around 2, that's that new candlestick. With the day candlestick, around 2, that's where a new candlestick would come out and it will form direction. So I always wait for the first direction, which that's where I capitalize on. And if I see that the movement is not making sense, maybe it's consolidating or something, I would wait until 6 in the morning. That's when you see me walking out of the building and I'm taking pictures to show them there's the sun, because not many people actually do that.
So you're focusing on like a 4-hour chart.
Yes,
Nice.
So it's the longer time frames, but most oftenly it's the 2 o'clock candlestick.
The 2 o'clock candlestick, which forms that first 4 hour.
That one gives you direction. Even when you're using brokerage from Dubai, I don't want to mention any brokerage. So they have that 2 o'clock candlestick, and oftenly when they take direction, they take those long candlesticks out, and then that's where we eat maybe from 2 until 6 in the morning. And it was a routine. It was fun. I did that with my friends, with my cousins. We used to meet up at my place around midnight and we do it, and that's the routine that we go for. During the day, for me, it's
okay, no, that's a pretty neat trading routine. So this is every day you in front of your PC.
And when I say literally, like when I say every day, I mean
every day.
Every day I'm doing the same boomerang. I'm doing the same. It's fun though, because I feel like we are the future generation of this industry, and you can even see with Sentin as well. It's something that a lot of South Africans should see it as their own home, instead of seeing it as something that you need to glorify or anything. We don't glorify nothing here. We need to use these places because we are the future generation. How do you become the future when you are even afraid to stay in your own land? And these are the places where I chose to be inspired all the time, just to see myself in a space where I become creative all the time. And I believe that as much as I do it, the other kids are also looking to say, one day I want to be like that guy, one day I want to pursue that, and I feel like the guys are gonna do good. The young generations are gonna do good. I feel like they're gonna do good.
Okay. You spoke about the car situation, and then you said it was not a good investment.
No.
So what has been the best investment you made over the span of this 10 years?
I would say the best investment that I made out of everything, it's my medical company, and it's something that I've always put it on pause, but every year it's kind of like building with new ideas, taking my experience from FOREX, implementing this side, and the hardship of FOREX also built you to the next company. But with me, it's more based on companies, it's something that I love. I can build 1,000 companies. In fact, if you gave me a task to build a company from scratch, from making it happen, websites,
everything,
anything, as long as it's on the screen, it's doable, and I think that's where my biggest investment has been, which is my medical company. It's something that I've always had, and I love it, and I'm still going to invest a lot more into it, because I feel like Only the PPE part where I was not there. I don't know where I was.
People were eating.
But it's okay. It's okay. We'll see next time.
And I hope there's no next pandemic. We are fine as pandemic.
No, there isn't. It's just that, I just feel like with the economy, it's like the pandemic round 2, but this time in the pocket.
Obviously now we have the global recession or a pending global recession coming. What are your thoughts on that?
But what if it's not a pending?
What if it's already here? But people keep saying it's coming.
No, it's already there.
It's already there.
I'm saying, what if this is the new life?
Oh yeah.
You understand? This is something that you have to adapt to. You have to level up to. So if you feel that you are failing in life because of recession, now it's time not to sleep. It's that time where you want to see yourself, pouring that petrol without even getting worried how much you spend. And I feel like it's something that people have to invest into, to have the idea to say, okay, what if we're going to live like this forever? You can't cry forever. At some point, you have to get to a point where you're like, okay, no, I need to level up and pull up my socks. And that's what I'm doing. I think even with the cross-nighting, spending most of the nights at the office, it's one of those things that says to me, if I was in New York or if I was in London, will I manage? You have to manage at home to manage somewhere else. So, and I just feel like the youth have to invest in identifying that what if this is the new world where you buy fish oil with 200. So are you going to cry forever and say that thing is 200, or are you going to make the 200? You have to make the 200 to not see it anymore and not even feel bad about not even feel bad when it comes to spending, when it comes to those prices. Because the recession, we don't know for sure whether they'll say petrol from 27 rand or whatever way it is, and then they'll take it back to 19 rand. I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Yeah, that's true. I also don't see it happening as well. Oh yeah, okay, no, that's great. So you need to tell me a story about at least one of your craziest trades that you've ever had on the charts. Just a crazy one where you were just like, yo,
man, I think it was 2019.
Okay.
2019. Yeah, 2019 we made some. I wouldn't really specify the amount.
Oh, come on. You need to give us at least. Okay, what was happening? Okay, tell us the trade. What was happening?
No, it was sitting with some couple of zeros. Man.
Couple of zeros. Yeah, but what was the trade? What were you trading?
So I had some 4 screens. I was trading on a 4 screen type of set. If anyone has my old Facebook, you can go and look. You can really. It's still there. I haven't deleted anything, and that was the craziest trade that I've ever had in my life. I wouldn't want to specify an amount directly.
No, but what I'm asking is that, like, what were you trading? Like, what instrument were you trading?
Oh, no, I was more based on currency.
So you're trading currencies
that time. Those other what boom.
But I think is I want you to walk us through the day. What was going on for you to actually trade to a point of making?
I mean, like, you wouldn't make a lot of money if you don't have like a big account and stuff.
Okay.
With us, as excess of cash has always been difficult. But one way or another we get those funds, and sometimes hunger will make you say it's heartful. Let me try to increase those lot sizes and let's see how it goes. But I think even with a strategy that has been meditated on like for months and months and months and months, getting to a point where you say there's no way this can go to the wrong direction. I'm just gonna open the volume and see how it slides. Let me just open.
So there's one of those days where everything just kind of lined up properly.
You wouldn't want to take a risk until you have done that proper research. I've watched your interviews. People will specify amounts, but what verifies that they've made that amount? So it's just a matter of, I can tell you the story, but I can't really specify the amount.
No, I'm not. I think right now I'll leave the amount alone. I'll leave the amount alone, but I'm just like asking about like this the trade, like what pair were you trading?
Man, it's not easy to remember.
You just remember the zeros.
It's not easy to remember. Because seasons change, And for a guy like me, I mean, like, I've been in the industry for so long, I can't tell you what I did what. But there's some few traits that I can say, okay, they've really changed my life. Including myself, maintaining myself in terms of lifestyle, in terms of, it's something that I've maintained for the longest time. I would say I've been in Sandton for 7 years. Think about it. 7 years is not a pop and flex. It's not easy. It's too expensive, you know. And for young guys, especially black guys, you'd say we don't come from a financial background. You know, it's something that we had to adapt to and then get used to it, and then after that we don't feel it anymore. Just like the session.
No, that's great. So do you have any advice that you'd like to give people at home as to, like, especially people who are trying to get into the industry, the young guys?
The number one thing that young guys must do is stay in school. That's number one. You have to get your paper correct. You understand? You still have to set an appointment somewhere. You know, you still have to type some words somewhere. So they have to stay in school. And number two is that anyone who's in South Africa, I can assure you right now that Forex is real. And it's not turning, there's no stories about it. What is not real, it's you investing in someone. That's the only thing that is not there. You know, investing in someone, it needs proper licensing, you know, it needs proper things for you to follow, you know. So if someone says it's taking investments, blah, 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 that is killing our industry on its own. You know, it's gonna die. But the people who are genuine, who are trying to prevent it as possible as they can, those are the people that are going to increase the industry. It's going to grow because there's still positivity, there's still belief, you know, there's restoration. You know, like right now, our parents are struggling with finances, but if they decide they go back to Forex, it's something that can actually help out, you know, financially, you know. And with the young people, never give up based on I know Forex sometimes can be difficult. You know, when you blow your accounts, you keep blowing your accounts, and you don't know a direction that you can take, you know, and at some point you feel that maybe let me just give up, you know. Don't give up, keep trying. But the number one rule, the second rule, always study the broker, because brokerage, I've ran a broker, I know exactly what happens there. So always study your broker, because sometimes it's not that you're failing to trade, it's just that your broker is not honest to you, you know, and they need to focus on what broker they're using. Is it a B book or is it an A book? And even if it's both of those, you must be so good that even if they try to cheat you money, you should know the next step on how to get your money, like how to report, you know, how to follow up, you know. And those are the basic things that you need to do, you know, as a young man, in order for you to survive in the industry. Wait for yourself to reach 18 years, and then when the 18 years is allowing you to open an account, then you study your brokers, and after studying brokers, then you can pursue your career however you like. But without one of them in there, it might be a problem. You don't know.
Yeah, no, that's great. No, thank you so much for this conversation, for this chat.
Man, I appreciate it.
For making time for us to come out here and then just shoot with you. And I've picked up a couple nuggets from stuff that you've said, really, and like I personally can say that I'm gonna take something from this and obviously apply it to my life. And but thank you very much. And I think just keep on like leading. Is all I'm gonna say. Keep on leading, as well as and inspiring as well. You know, because that's what really is needed right now, especially for the next generation of traders. To all that. And, thank you very much.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Nqobile Tembane from Top Trader South Africa, and this was another installment of Market Masters. And I'm sitting here with Thulani Vilakazi, aka Genius Medulla. Yes. Where can they find you?
Yeah, basically I'm on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I only have one account, by the way. It's genius_.
We're gonna link. We'll put the link below in the description so people can find
Genius_Medulla.
Yeah.
And then the company is Invigo Forex ZA, not Invigo Forex. They'll scam you those ones.
Yeah.
Invigo_Forex_ZA.
Okay.
ZA.
No, perfect. No, thank you very much, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you guys on the next episode. Thank you.